What's up, nerds? My name is Brendan, I'm the nerd of many faces, and to my right, as always, is Shane at FDScosplay, and we are the Knights of Nerd. Shane, we're recording later than usual. You've been having some fun playing Halo.
Oh, my God, yes.
Halo Infinite. I have been diligently working. Yes, the relationship in this podcast is so fair.
Right? Oh my God, it was so much fun, dude. Oh, that game is going to be amazing when it comes out. When it comes out, we can do a full,
yeah, we can
full
do,
on.
We can do a full on. Yes. I look forward to it.
And
review.
Oh my God.
Maybe some streams on Twitch, and so on and so forth. Having some fun. And yeah,
it was it's pretty amazing. I've been lucky enough to get on every single beta for every Halo game released whenever there was a beta, so I've been in that insider program for a long time, and this is by far one of the best experiences I've had. They did a really great job with it, with this beta that they did, so a lot of fun. If you didn't get on it, I am sorry, but you definitely missed out. You're going to have to wait until December.
I did not, but I have it pre-installed, so therefore when December hits, I will have by far less of a wait time for myself to actually come out and get to play that game.
Yes.
Excuse me. But on Friday, you and I went and saw Venom, There Will Be Carnage, which will be the focus of today's episode. We'll first give our non-spoilery review of it, and then we'll go into the deep dive, and at that time, spoilers will abound. We will say, go away, go watch the movie, and then come back to us later. So, Shane, what are your first initial thoughts of Let There Be Carnage?
Too short, really, just too damn short, man. I mean, the movie was only an hour and a half long, and it felt even shorter than that. Like, I mean, that's an hour and a half with the credits. So, I mean, if you take away the credits, you're probably looking at like maybe an hour 20, hour 25 in actual screen time. And yeah, dude, just super short. When we were watching, I was sitting there, I was like, man, this is it over already? It's really over? And I looked at my watch, and it was like a little after 10:30, and I'm all, oh, I was expecting to be here till like 11:30, maybe midnight, like, because we saw the movie at 9, and of course there's always 15-20 minutes of previews.
Yep.
And I was just blown away at how short it was, but definitely a popcorn flick for sure. Kind of felt like a superhero movie, kind of not. There was a lot of, I mean, for me, it was kind of all over the place. I really felt that, like, Woody Harrelson, like, kind of stole the movie a little bit. He was fantastic. And I mean, but that was the same thing for, for Zombieland and stuff like that, but same thing with Tom Hardy. I mean, even though he was the star of the movie in the last one, he like literally stole the movie, just the way his on-screen presence was and how he acted with Venom. Right, and he had that this time, but there wasn't really anything new. I mean, there's a little bit more kind of like the Odd Couple kind of comedy style between the two of them.
The Odd Couple / almost a Lethal Weapon type dichotomy with the good cop, bad cop scenario. It's in terms of time, it's like I didn't realize that it was that short. Maybe it was because I was tired when I went through and saw it, but I just kind of thought the pacing was a little bit off. Again, as you stated, good popcorn flick. I mean, it's enjoyable. There's a couple chuckles to be had here and there. Nothing that's gonna like make you bust at the seams laughing though. And I did very much get some, in terms of the dialogue and everything else between Eddie Brock and Venom, that it's almost kind of pulling from Mystery Science Theater 3000 in how some of the lines are delivered, in terms of how like Venom is an outsider viewing in, or he's like, he's He's on the periphery, and he's not really, or he's a main character, yes, but some of his internal monologue some of the internal Venom monologue that Eddie Brock is having is kind of the same thing, and also kind of like the same reaction that the audience is having too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they could have made that movie about 40 minutes longer and went a little bit more deeper into kind of the relationship between Eddie and Cletus, because I mean, you kind of got a little bit of that at the beginning. Like the beginning felt very rushed to an extent. I wish they would have kind of went a little bit more back into kind of Cletus's origin a little bit, and given us a more of an in-depth story between the two of them, because it was just kind of just thrown out there like, okay, here's hey, we're gonna bring Venom in, this is how we're gonna do it, da 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 da. Though I do appreciate the fact how Cletus became Carnage. That's how it happened, that I can remember from the comic book. So just
I do know that it happened differently in the Spider-Man cartoon series, because that's where I'm going to draw my reference. That's where I am going to normally draw my reference from. Is the Adventures of the Amazing Spider-Man, or the same one, that the cartoon series that was out in the 90s. I remember, and this is spoiler alert, but again, it's been since the 90s, so if you haven't watched this Spider-Man yet, I'm sorry that I spoiled it for you, but in all honesty, it's been over 20 years, so catch up. I remember in this, like, the symbiote saga, Venom is joined with Eddie Brock. Spider-Man takes him to a rocket launch, and the rocket goes up into space, and as it goes up into space, Venom separates himself from Eddie Brock because he's weak to sound, and Spider-Man attaches Venom to the rocket as it's going up into space. But when it comes back from space, that is when the split took place from, so that way we got both Venom and Carnage. Venom went and found Eddie Brock, and then Carnage found Cassius. Cletus, thank you.
Cletus Cassidy was his
Cassidy, and then we got both Venom and Carnage, and they had a excellent time, or not an excellent time. They had an excellent time, like, sowing mayhem and destruction. And so therefore I don't remember the whole entire thing of, like, it's because Eddie Brock, it's like it's because Cletus bit Eddie Brock and, like, tasted some of his blood. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all.
No, it I'm double checking my reference because it's been so long since I read the comic, but yeah, no. Carnage, so Venom, yes, is a parent symbiote of Carnage. But Carnage is another symbiote that basically came from the same essential parasite.
All right. Well, symbiote,
sorry.
And
so, but there's been other Carnages too, so you had Ben Reilly, Carl Malice, Norman Osborn, and Gwen Stacy too, so who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, there's just, like, I don't want to go through and say that this was, like, a fantastic Spider-Verse movie, because that's technically what it is. it is a movie that is within the realm of Spider-Man. It's I mean, it's not the best one. It's definitely not the worst one. I mean, you know, it's going to take a while for Spider-Man 3 to be knocked off that throne. Yes, shots were fired.
I don't know. The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I dare you.
I will. I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just even worse than Spider-Man 3. Like, that movie was rough.
Okay, which one has more gifts made out of it, though?
True, but that's just because Tobey Maguire knows how to shake his butt. That's the only reason why, you know?
The dancing emo Tobey Maguire will forever plague us, or grace us with its presence. One or the other. Take your pick. But I mean, but even then, it's like, okay. So you say that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst Spider-Man movie. Is Venom: Let There Be Carnage worse than Amazing Spider-Man 2? In your opinion?
No.
So.
No, at least in this movie, there was, like I said, I mean, Woody Harrelson kind of stole the show for me.
He plays crazy people so well.
He does. He really, really does. He plays psychotic people really well. And I mean, he's not even close to being like that in real life. No, you know,
like,
he's a hippie stoner.
It's like, from what I understand, he's a sweetheart, but it's like, I mean, Natural Born Killers and Zombieland are the two movies in which, like, okay, you are the most messed up individual in this. Granted, Tallahassee had to kind of be messed up in terms of, you know, dealing with your surroundings. During the zombie apocalypse, everyone's got to be a little bit crazy. But yeah, he just does a very good job of playing those crazy people. Mm-hmm. Tom Hardy's performance was fantastic. Again, in terms of both him playing Eddie Brock and him playing Venom, and you know, what better chemistry than what you would have with yourself, right? So, I mean, that doesn't have to go into a whole bunch. And then, of course, you and I were both surprised at this, that Andy Serkis was the director.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that going into it. Usually I know who's directing the film before I go see it. And for whatever reason, I just didn't really pay attention this time. And yeah, when it came up on the end credits, I was like, dude, Gollum directed this?
Gollum, Caesar.
Yes.
You know, what else has he done?
He was in 13 going on 30. Yep, he was 13 going on 30. He was the head of the whatever magazine that Jennifer Garner was working for or whatever. And what else has he been in? He's been in a lot of things.
Yes, he has. He has been. It's like he's been in numerous projects and has always, like, done super well in them.
Yes.
But, well, I guess now we'll get into the spoilery portion of our episode. So if you have not seen Venom: Let There Be Carnage and want to, without any spoilers, you have been given fair warning. But Shane, actually, we'll do this first. Shane, would you go see it in the theater, or would you recommend going and seeing it in a theater, or just waiting till it comes out on something?
I would go see it in theaters just for one simple fact. Okay, granted, yes, the movie is a popcorn movie, and it's probably, I would say, I won't give my rating right now until we get to the end, but I would go see it. I would go see it again in the theater just for the scene.
You're gonna have to say that again because you cut out.
Oh, I would go see it in the theater again a second time for myself just for that end credit scene.
That is a long time to wait just for one scene.
But it's worth it. It is so worth it.
I mean, yeah.
But it does leave you with a lot of questions. It does.
It does. It does leave you to a lot of questions. For myself personally, I would suggest go see this at a matinee. Go see this during a matinee show for a theater pricing. I mean, I may go see it again within the next couple of days, just to kind of refresh, and also the way that they have done things that we'll get to later in the show, the way that they're doing things and setting things up, I again have questions, but we'll get to those questions. It's like we'll get to that here relatively soon. I mean, in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, it's rating a 59% in the critic score. I think it's rating an 86% in the viewers. So it's doing okay in terms. It's like, I'll see if I can pull out.
So Metacritic score is a 47.
Ouch.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of rough. A little rough.
Less than 50% from Metacritic is always rough.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's less than 50%, but I'm a weirdo. I love movies, and I like some bad, like I'll say that some really bad movies are some of my most favorite movies. Like, I mean, you go look up Benchwarmers. I love that movie. I can watch that movie 100 times and still laugh my ass off at it. But it's like one of the worst movies ever made. But yeah, no, Rotten Tomatoes, it was 59% on the tomato meter. And audience score, though, surprisingly, I wouldn't say surprisingly, because I can see why this score is so high, is an 85.
Yeah, and granted, and that's generally where things are going to fall in terms of the superhero genre movies. The critics are always going to be, or the critics are 9 times out of 10 going to be like, this is not great.
Yeah.
But the fans, however, are going to go see it. But Venom Let There Be Carnage did score better on the tomato meter than, the first Venom. The first Venom, according to the tomato meter, scored a whopping 30%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it did something better in terms, the sequel is better according to Rotten Tomatoes, according to GameStop.
I'm curious that. Yeah.
Or GameSpot, not GameStop.
Yeah, GameSpot.
It is not as fun as the second time around. But, I mean, again, we are just two humble movie lovers that are going to give you our honest opinion. If you want to go see this movie, go. It's like our main suggestion is go see it for a matinee. That way you're not out as much money, and that way if you feel that you're disappointed in this, you won't be being like, I can't believe I shelled out this much money for this. Why did I turn Southern for that?
I have no idea. I was wondering the same thing.
I did watch Django recently, so maybe I have some Leo DiCaprio like rubbing off on me, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to our spoiler report. Oh, go ahead.
Well, my question is, so on the audience score of an 85%, I wonder how much of that 85% is because of that end credit scene.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna get into the spoilery portion, because where can we? It's like we need, if we're talking about spoilers, we need to just get into the spoilers. So
let's just rip the Band-Aid off, right?
Let's rip off the Band-Aid and get to it, and rub some dirt in it, and then walk it off. So when we start this, it's like when the movie starts, we kind of get the impression that Eddie Brock is still down on his luck, like. His relationship with Annie is like, he's not back together with Annie like we were led to believe was going to happen in Venom 1. Still kind of lives in a crappy apartment. Has a hard time holding down jobs in the reporting world. And I mean, to me, that kind of, it's just to kind of start this off, to me, that didn't really make that much sense. Because when we left Eddie Brock in the movie Venom, he just, he exposed a Fortune 500 company for, corrupt business practices. And a whole bunch of other nefarious things. And, you know, most reporters who break that kind of a story would be snatched up in a heartbeat by networks. I mean, it's like the place where I worked at in Venom probably would have welcomed back with open arms and with a pay raise. Because we're like, we were wrong. Here's your old job back. Here's a promotion. Do the things that it's like do the Eddie Brock you. So I mean, that to me didn't make sense.
Well, not only that, but even after his whole came back with breaking, the new, breaking the mystery of where Cletus had all of his victims buried. Like, how was he not like snatched up right then and there?
I don't know.
Like that I mean, that's, to me, to break something like that as an investigative reporter, like, how are you not like snatched up by a network or a newspaper or some journalism, something,
some type of journalistic entity would go through and snatch you up in a heartbeat. And then it's, well, actually, wait, no, that's not the official start of the movie. It's like at the start of the movie is Cletus and Francis, right?
Right, Cletus and Francis, who's played by Naomi Harris, who is which most people, like, she looked right away. I thought, was like, wow, she looks like she's what's her name from Pirates of the Caribbean? Tia Dalma, I think was the character's name.
Yep, Tia Dalma. And I'm like, it's like they had 2 pirates in this movie, and you're like, wait. It's like, yeah, you're right. We'll get to the second one in a minute. I don't. So there's part of me that it's like, if you can do this well, go ahead and do it. But there are some points in times where it's like, this kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, we hear Woody Harrelson's voice come out of a younger, who is supposed to, a man who is supposed to be a younger version of the Cletus character. And like, part of it is like, okay, my brain is having a hard time disconnecting what Woody Harrelson's supposed to look like and taking his voice and putting it into another body or another human body. It's different with animation.
I mean, I thought they did a decent job with the casting of young Cletus and young Francis. I thought they did. I thought that was well, but yeah, it did really throw me off when he started speaking, and I was like, wait.
I'm not
they
saying
brought Woody. They brought Woody in for
voiceover.
For voiceover. Like, wow, okay.
No, I'm not saying that they did a bad job of acting those portions out. It's just one of those things where it's like, my brain did not register what my eyes were. It's like, well, sorry, my brain did not register what my eyes were seeing and my ears were hearing.
Yeah,
there was a thing where it's like, okay, here's where they should meet, but they're like, oh, nope, I'm gonna go this way. But again, that's like me being super nitpicky about a very small thing. It's been done before. I mean, there is the whole entire de-aging thing, which a lot of movies have been known to do, and sometimes it does not work out to the best advantage of the appearance of the movie. And so this is kind of one way that I'd rather have it be seen done. I mean, it's a good job, but just like I said, me being super nitpicky and not quite seeing, or not quite wrapping my head around that.
Well, one of the things too is like the just the like certain people that just have only seen superhero movies, right? And only know Carnage from, whether it's from a video game or a random comic book that they picked up or anything like that. Like Francis's character Shriek, like nobody's gonna know who she is.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna understand that she's a Spider-Man villain, and you know, I think that's kind of gonna. I think that gets lost in this film. Like everybody, like I'm pretty sure people were sitting there going, "Who's this girl that he's going at? Who's this Francis girl? Like,
yeah, and
he's in love with her. Who is she? And why she got Black Canary's scream? And you know, it's like, well, it's Shriek. It's Shriek.
Black
Canary, whatever.
No,
whatever.
You said cannery. It's like this woman is not canning fish.
I said canary.
No, you said
cannery. Cannery. I said cannery. Did I? Okay.
You said cannery first.
Okay.
I will play it back for you, sir.
So.
Yeah, and it's like I even stated this in our little bit of a post-mortem in the parking lot, and I said one of the things that I felt that they should have done way earlier in the movie is actually refer to Francis as Shriek. So that way it's like, okay, we know this is a bad guy. We know that this is, I mean, we can clearly tell that they're going to be a bad person, yes.
Right.
But it lends more agency to the name of Shriek rather than like the one utterance of the name. It's like, I'm like, well, great, that's just too, it's like, for me, it was too little too late in terms of that.
Yeah.
God, what was that one guy's name who played Detective Mitchell?
You mean Detective Mulligan? Stephen
yes.
Graham? Stephen Graham from Pirates of the Caribbean. Last two, he was really good. He did really well. He was Scrum in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
But yeah, no, dude, I thought he did a great job as officer, as the detective. I don't want to say officer, but as Detective Mulligan. I liked his character. I liked how they brought him in at the very beginning when they were transporting Frances from the psych hospital to where she ultimately ended up.
It was from St. Inez.
Yes.
To Ravencroft.
Yep. And I like how he was a young cop, you know, just a young cop, probably in his early 20s or whatever, and he's the reason why Shriek has the scar on her eye. You know, that was kind of a neat little kind of tie-in and stuff like that. So that was really, I enjoyed that. I thought he did a really good job of kind of being the
foil to Eddie Brock.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and you know, Michelle Williams, you know, love her for forever. I mean, she was fantastic in just about anything that she's done. I really like her as Anne, and you know, it was really, really neat to see her don Venom and get to run around and enjoy that again. So it was her character is really, really neat, and
I have issues with that.
Really? How come?
So, okay, I have no issue about her like being Lady Venom. That's not the issue that I have. But it's like Venom's sentient.
Yeah.
He wants Annie and Brock to get back together.
Right.
So while he's fused with Annie, do you think that Venom would go through and say, "Hey, Annie, by the way, Eddie still loves you"?
Yeah.
I mean, in this movie, Venom is willing to put like his non-existent nose in everybody's business.
Yeah.
And so the whole entire thing of like, wait, Annie's going to join with Venom yet once again. She's going to be made aware of his thoughts. He is going to be made aware of hers.
Yeah.
Like, this should be more interesting.
Yeah.
Because literally, it's like you have a literal middleman in Venom.
Right.
That
Yep.
it's like, okay, I know how Annie feels. I know how Eddie feels. Now, how can we get them so that way they're feeling the same thing?
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, granted, it's like I would say deal with these emotions in a healthy manner, but then I'm like, oh wait, you know, Venom is having a hissy fit about not eating humans and, you know, only eating chickens and chocolate.
Yeah.
the two C's.
Chickens and chocolate. And what was the name of his two chicken best friends that he had?
Sonny and Cher.
That's right. That's right. Oh my god, that was great.
Sonny and Cher are friends. They're off limits. We go through, it's like, and like from this get-go, like I said, it felt like Eddie's life has thus since stalled. Like it would have been more interesting to me had he gone through, it's like had Eddie Brock gone through and had like a meteoric rise just to fall again.
Right.
Here it's like he's like, I didn't even have a rise. I just went boop.
Yeah, right.
It's like I just appeared on the radar for like 1 second and then I'm gone again.
Yeah.
But he would have a meteoric
been...
rise, then go see Cletus. Cletus breaks out and causes carnage for Eddie Brock. And then you have this whole entire thing where there's more of a willingness to fight and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been, I think it would have been a better story per se, like if, you know, Eddie breaking the news and, you know, basically finding all of Cletus's victims, all of his victims, you know, breaking that news story, if that was his way to get back to New York.
Oh, that would have but of course it's like, here we are, it's like, you know, we're being armchair writers, yes, but that's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of the fun thing about it. It's like, okay, oh, go ahead.
That was kind of his whole premise in the first movie. He wanted to get back to New York. He wanted to get back up on top. But here he is stuck in, you know, San Francisco because he's been kind of exiled from New York for his tactics and the way that he went about getting his stories. So, you know, it would have been kind of cool to have that happen, you know, have him find that and then get back to New York, and then Carnage show up and kind of bring him back down from grace again, you know, and then have it that way. And I think that would have been a more, you know, climatic, you know, spin to the film. You know, would have brought in a little bit more to it. But at the same time, if he did end up going back to New York and you've got Venom and Carnage destroying New York, don't you think Spider-Man's got to come in?
Well, yeah. And I guess it's like, since we did mention, it's like since we have mentioned the Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man.
We're going to skip ahead a little bit to the end credits. Because yes. I have a feeling that this could probably take up a huge portion of our time. Well, actually, we'll get there soon enough. Let's go through and you know, continue on in terms of talking. Do you think that we saw enough of Cletus?
No.
I would agree with that. I don't think we saw enough. Don't think that we saw enough of Cletus. I think that it would have been better if we saw more, because I mean, he's also named in the title.
Yeah.
Let there be carnage.
Yeah, there was a lot of carnage. I mean, for the most part. I mean, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of carnage in the film, not a lot of Carnage the character.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, no, man, I wish they would have. An hour and a half is not enough to properly tell the best story you can with these two big characters, especially Venom and most importantly Carnage. I mean, this is what everybody's been waiting for. Like, I mean, we never got it in any of the, previous Spider-Man movies. We got some of his big villains, but we never got the big baddies from the 90s,
Yeah.
Venom and Carnage. And, that's kind of what, if you weren't born outside of, 1980, that was kind of your major villains in the 90s. During the comic books, with McFarlane, creating Venom during his time as for writing Spider-Man, and Carnage, just how do you give them such short time on screen? Like, I kind of feel, not knocking anything that Andy Serkis did. Like, he did a great job as a director. Like, I don't think that there was any point in that film where I was like, wow, this is really bad acting, or, the cinematography or the music or the sound or the special effects or anything like that was done badly. I just think it was a missed opportunity to have a, 2 hour and 20 minute, 2 hour and 35-minute, film showcasing both of these characters. You could have had the whole thing with Eddie Brock, and like we said, let him rise to glory and take him back to New York, right? And then have him and Venom kind of go off this whole, where Venom wants to eat people, and Eddie's like, no, I just got myself back to where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you ruin that for me. And then Venom breaks off and goes and does his thing, like he did in the film. And then you have Carnage come in, and then you kind of have Carnage kind of destroy San Francisco or whatever, and you kind of tell that story. And he's trying to find where Eddie's at,
and Eddie has to go back to San Francisco somehow.
Yeah, or something, or even Carnage comes to New York to find him, because Michelle Williams' character, or her fiance in the movie, is it Dan?
Dan.
Yes. Dan tells him where Eddie's at, because he's gonna kill, Anne, and that, that would be such a great story. That would give you that time that you missed, and it would be able to really kind of bring those two characters together, and you have it to where, Carnage comes and, is coming after Eddie, and that's what brings Venom back. But then, of course, Venom finds out that it's Carnage, kind of like he did in the film, was like, nope, I'm not coming out. I'm good. Nope. Nope, you're on your own. You're on your own.
It's like,
that's
yeah,
Red one.
So?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that was probably one of the funniest parts in that film was, when that happened.
It's in the trailer.
He's like, I will let you eat anybody, everybody, as much as you want.
Promise?
Really? Promise? Really? Deal. That was great. That was a great scene. But yeah, I just there definitely were some misses. There were some misses for me. I wouldn't say they were huge misses. I would say that there was some decent size opportunities that were missed in this film, primarily with the lack of Carnage.
Now, in this, it's like, and so it's not, and also we're gonna get to the point where it's not like we can get more Carnage, because unfortunately Venom Let There Be Carnage does fall prey to the standard Spider-Man trope of killing off its bad guys.
Right. But here's the thing. Yes, Carnage is supposedly no more.
Yes.
Do we really know that? Because, like I said earlier, there are other people that end up becoming Carnage. Gwen Stacy being one of them.
Well, yes.
Venom may have not eaten all of Carnage.
That is also a good question. That's all. But in terms of what we are led to believe, though,
because when Spider-Man becomes symbiote Spider-Man, isn't it just from a small piece of symbiote?
No, it's
right.
It's
is it?
It's from the whole kit and caboodle.
Is it okay? Okay, I was trying to remember if it was just a piece,
Uh,
but okay.
no, because well, it's like in the cartoon series, it is the sludge from the Hudson but again,
Right.
it's the organism that comes from the space rocks that
Hmm.
Jameson Jr. brings back to Earth,
Right.
and it is the full thing of what Venom would be. And I mean, you are correct in that we could see more of Carnage, but but the thing is that we are not led to expect that at this current point in time.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that end credit
They
scene
could
kind
they could
of.
subvert expectation, yes. And okay, you've mentioned the end credit scene like 5 times. Fine, we'll talk about it right now. As I'm trying to shoo a cat off my lap.
Can I say? Can I say welcome to the MCU Venom?
So I kind of have a theory about this.
All right, I want to hear this theory.
I think this was Sony's ploy for more money.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
because the thing,
dude, Spider-Man: No Way Home is, and Far From Home. Those movies are so good, and
well,
what they've done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe just slap Marvel on it, and it's, turns out to be pretty amazing. I mean, look at what they did for Shang-Chi,
mm,
Shang, right? Shang-Chi. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. And
it's like with that type of an alias, no wonder they found you.
right. I mean, a character I didn't even know about, and a lot of people didn't know about, and that was an amazing movie. That's easily one of my top 3 favorite Marvel movies. Of course Sony's going, it's like, they've got freaking dollar signs behind their eyes,
Well,
and I mean, even with what they're doing with this Spider-Man, what's I don't remember the tag for the new Spider-Man movie,
No
but
Way Home.
No Way Home. There you go. I mean, dude, we're crossing universes hardcore here.
Well, okay.
So here's my question though: with that end credit scene, are we gonna see Venom in that movie? Because it does. I mean, he basically wakes up and
no.
I don't know if it's an alternate time, alternate universe, or however the hell that is, and he's watching the announcement that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Here's the reason why I'm going to say I hope they don't. Because already they're kind of going down the Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be the One Day More series, or the one based off of the One Day More series run from the comic books. They've kind of been hinting at that heavily. Also, the problem in which that they have run into time and time again is that they introduce too many villains for Spider-Man to fight.
Yeah.
Like, look at Spider-Man 1 villain, great movie.
Yep.
Spider-Man 2, 1 villain, great movie.
Yep.
Spider-Man 3, more than 3 villains, terrible.
Yeah. And that was the same thing with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Amazing Spider-Man, you had 1 villain in the first movie, and that was really good. And then you got the second one, you've got two. Sandman. No, Sandman was 3.
Sandman was Spider-Man
Electro
3.
And
Electro, Green. Did you have Hobgoblin or Green Goblin or something? No, that was the first one.
Oh, I don't remember. That movie was so bad. I'm trying to forget it. I don't even own that one. I don't think. No, I have the first one. I'm gonna have to look that up. I want to say there was more than 1 villain in that one. I could be wrong, which I am most of the time. No. But
was it the
I don't know.
Was it the lizard that was in 2?
No, lizard was it the lizard in 2? No, the Lizard was in the first one. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let's see, who did we have? We had Jamie Foxx as Electro. Oh yeah, no, you had the Green Goblin. You had Dane DeHaan as the Green Goblin.
Okay, so yes,
yeah.
So the whole entire thing with introducing more than one villain, and I am going to have a very, very hard time accepting Eddie Brock and Venom being the bad guy when literally in the One Day More series, it's the devil that's the bad guy for Spider-Man. I mean, because he got himself into trouble mystically. Now, I'm not saying that they can't introduce who Venom is in Spider-Man No Way Home, but don't have him be, it's like, don't throw him into the fray so that way he can fight. It's Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just because, like, one, it is of my belief that Venom deserves his own movie. He deserves his own time. That's going to be the full length to fight Spider-Man.
Yes.
It's like, it's going to be a drag out brawl between the two, but that's what I want to see. Because when it's like most of the time when people think of Spider-Man, they think of Venom as well. They think of Venom as one of his main bad guys. So stop giving him this whole entire thing of like he's a third string villain. No, he is in the starting lineup, and just give, it's like, Spider-Man out for blood, or it's like Venom in blood or something like that. I mean, something. Of course, they have been going through this whole entire thing of like Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Poison Home.
Spider-Man is home.
Or something along those lines. So with this being opened up, and also you have to remember Spider-Man No Way Home is very fast approaching. It's not that far away. Like we're we're seeing this in December, I think.
Yep, I believe so. It is. Actually, I had it up on my screen here. December 17th.
They might have had the forethought to go through and do these scenes at the same time, but then it comes into a whole entire thing of like, well, Sony needs him one day and then Marvel needs him the next because they're because again, it's the whole entire Marvel Sony, parental custody battle of Spider-Man. That's still annoying to this day.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's like just let Venom have his own movie. Don't throw him into it's like No Way Home. Because already it's like, Spider-Man's gonna have, in terms of the writing aspect of it, it's gonna be Spider-Man versus himself as the main antagonist, because he's gonna want things a certain way. He's gonna mess things up, so therefore he has to fight his own ideas and stuff like that in terms of what it is that he wants, or so that's how I think it's gonna go. I have not seen a script. I don't know anything in particular, but it's like, using my degree, that's what I would assume is going to take place, because it's the common tropes of storytelling. Why? It's like, do you think that we're gonna see Venom in Spider-Man No Way Home?
If we do, I think it'll be an end credit scene.
Okay, that I'd be willing to accept. An end credit scene, I'd be willing to accept that.
Yeah, after after going back and thinking about the trailer for for No Way Home. I mean, you're already gonna have Doc Ock, which we already know.
Yep.
You're gonna have Electro. You're gonna have
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. Who's all part of the Sinister Six?
You have Vulture, Rhino,
Sandman.
Sandman's in there too. Yep. Chameleon.
Hmm.
I think the Lizard's in there as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he's going to have his hands full. I think this is going to be our. I have a feeling this movie is going to launch the Sinister Six, and I feel that that will be Marvel's first take on a supervillain movie.
Okay.
I firmly believe that, because from what we've seen with Marvel, they don't kill their villains. At least I don't remember them doing. Well, I mean, Thanos, yeah, but they have a good track record of not killing Spider-Man villains. Okay, I'll put it that way.
Thanos, it's like, well, the question is Ultron really dead?
Right.
Or is he just
what if? It's. I'd love to see the Sinister Six. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Marvel take and make a film based off the Sinister Six. Maybe that's how you get Venom and Spider-Man together to take on the Sinister Six. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that they'll make Venom a big part of it. But when they do, God forbid, please put the white spider on Venom's suit, for heaven's sake. Please. Pretty please, with sugar on top.
Well, he's got to fuse with this. He's got to fuse with Spider-Man first before that happens. That hasn't happened yet.
I know, but I still want my white spider.
Chronological order, sir. But I mean, and this actually comes up. This actually brings up another question. At least for me.
Okay.
Do you think that Venom's going to be a bad guy?
I have a feeling that he is going to be.
Venom has been the good guy in the past.
Right.
So is it going to be such where we're going to see essentially, are we going to skip that storyline and just basically go to anti-Venom?
Right. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's definitely.
It's a worthwhile.
I think it's definitely a great question. I think is what we're going to see is, in the end credit scene, Venom looked like he was more intrigued as to find out who Spider-Man is. So I could see it not being your typical like Spider-Man Venom kind of thing.
So
I have a feeling it's going to be more of along the lines of Venom's kind of obsessed with Spider-Man on trying to figure out who he is and why he is the way that he is.
They already know,
because Venom wants to be this good guy. He wants to protect people. He wants to eat the bad guys. So he,
it's like the lethal Avenger is what he was.
Yeah. So I don't see how you can go from, like, how do you go from being this kind of, it would be like taking Batman and making him a villain.
It's been done before.
It's been done before, but I mean, it would basically be taking your anti-hero and making him definitely an anti-hero, but making him a villain. Well, so I mean, I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting to see the way that they go. I mean, Marvel's really has not let us down yet on any facet of the imagination when it comes to on-screen, depictions of their characters.
This is true.
where Sony has.
I would not
You
disagree
know,
with that.
Sony has given us a lot of foul balls. You know, so I think it's going to come down to when that does happen, is Marvel going to have full creative control over the character, or is Sony going to pull the Warner Brothers and say, this is our character, we're the ones that are going to control the way that you guys are going to use them, and if you don't like it, you're never going to be able to use them again? Because
I don't. Well, the question it's going to come down to a price cost.
oh yeah, no, absolutely, always. That, I mean, that's business.
There's well, no, it's like the whole entire thought process of like Sony going and saying to Marvel, "Oh, we want to keep." It's like we want to keep control of our character, so you can go take a long walk off a short bridge. It's like, to me, would be one of the dumbest business moves that you could possibly make. It's like Marvel already leased out this character once, created Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was a huge success. They did the same thing with Far From Home. Again, huge success. If it's worked twice already, it's like, you know, why wouldn't it work a third time? Or a fourth time, or so on and so forth. So, I mean, I don't care, it's like, about Sony keeping the rights to, you know, having Spider-Man, but just go through and be like, okay, it's like, we'll lease the character out to Marvel on a pseudo-permanent basis, so that way they can use him when they need to. And then we can just collect a paycheck without doing that much work. I mean, this is not rocket science.
No, it's not. No, it's
this
not.
Isn't even business 101. This is like intro to business.
Yeah.
And and the thing is like, so one of the things that you touched on in terms of Venom being obsessed with Spider-Man. Well, one of the things that was kind of hinted at, or at least I saw this as a hint, is that the symbiotes are aware of the multiverse.
Yes.
So Venom already knows of a Spider-Man knows of the Spider-Man already. I'm saying Spider-Man in plural because, you know, he more than likely has run into and or has possibly fought other spider people, whatever.
Well, here's my question for you then.
Because remember, the symbiotes are collective knowledge over eons.
Right. Could it be possible, so just possible, that the Venom that we see now is that of the Venom that we saw in Spider-Man 3? Now, look at the design, the shape of the heads. They're very similar to Spider-Man 3. Okay? It's a little bit more on the, I don't want to say like horror side in the Venom movies to where it was in Spider-Man 3. But
Spider-Man 3 was it was also just like a terrible version of Venom, so it's like,
right. But with everything kind of coming together, right, per se, is what they're leading to with that end credit scene. Could it be that this Venom was that Venom in 3 and has now attached itself to a better version of Eddie Brock?
I don't think so.
Okay. I just figured I'd throw it out there just because, why not be devil's advocate, you know?
But I will give you a reason why.
Okay.
The symbiotes in which Venom is part of the creation of, as I said, are a collective knowledge of sorts.
Right.
So if that Venom is the same one that we saw from Spider-Man 3, why the hell isn't he more angry?
True. Maybe he's learning from his mistakes.
Why pick Eddie Brock then?
Right.
The person with the most mistakes. But I mean, again, that's one of the things that's great about this type of thing, is going through and proposing theories that may be a long shot in terms of, you know, what's going on. Or they might just be flat out wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before. You've been wrong before. We've all been wrong.
Yep.
And it's like I just don't see that version of the symbiote coming back, because unless it's like, you know, he was up in space and learned to chill for however many years or whatever, still gonna be angry at Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of of what we get for a reaction from Venom at the end of this, or during the end credit scene, we get, it's like, I don't know if it's I guess the best way to phrase it is that it's infatuation. Whether it's good or bad is uncertain at this point in time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they do with that, because I mean, we even talked about it afterwards, like that end credit scene left us with more questions than answers,
of course,
you know. So it's definitely going to be one of those things of where we're like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, how did Eddie even end up? Where did he end up? Like, I mean, he's not in his hotel room, even though he is.
He's not. He's not.
You know, I mean,
on that deserted island?
Did he end up being brought to
the 616?
Yeah. Did he end up getting brought there from the whole mishap between Doctor Strange trying to help Peter? You know, who, like, there's so many ways that you can go about it.
Well, we did see a slight flash of orange.
We did, yes.
Generally, if we see orange, that is something to do with the mystic arts, which would then lead us to, again, Doctor Strange. And, you know, and who knows? Actually, here's something that we haven't thought about. What if we see Venom in Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one who's gonna help Peter.
Could be.
We haven't
seen Toby. We haven't seen Andrew. They're not in any of the IMDb page or anything like that. So,
but this is Marvel that we're talking about. If
it is Marvel.
They're good at keeping a pretty tight lip on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't even know like what the title of the What If series is going to be until, or the next episode in What If or what have you, The Mandalorian. I mean, insert TV show's name here. We don't generally know that information until like maybe 12 hours before.
Yeah. Yep.
And
so
it's like they might just keep it tight-lipped just so that way they can sell tickets at the box office. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Because, you know, as soon as it gets out, whoever it is that is in the film, you know, as soon as that gets out, it's going to be, oh boy.
It's either going to be who boy? Oh, it's like, oh boy. Or, oh man, they made it into this movie. God dang, I can't go see this no more.
Yep. So, and I mean, I'm just throwing this out. I am literally just throwing this out there completely into the universe. Take it for what it is. But what if episode 9 of What If ties us all together?
Quite possibly.
We find out what if Venom ends up in Spider-Man's universe.
I don't know where that's gonna go. In all
I
honesty,
I don't know, because we don't know what episode 9 is. You know, they could have. I mean, episode 8, the last one. What if Ultron won? That I thought that was the finale for the series, and
nope.
it's not.
There's
There's still more.
There-
So,
but wait, there's more.
I mean, who knows, man? I mean, oh, it's going to be really, 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 really interesting to see what happens on Wednesday. And I mean, it's kind of funny. The Marvel's almost like almost like watching wrestling. You tell one story, and then you to have another story off to the side that you tie everything in together, and then you go off, and then you have your big your big pay-per-view and stuff like that. It kind of feels like it. Bad analogy, but it feels like it.
It's like crap. It's like not even like on Wednesday. It's like, in all honesty, I think I know where Wednesday's gonna go. I think I know where that's gonna go potentially. But again, that's another episode for a different time. It's like,
yep.
But I don't think that we'll actually get to know anything until possibly December 17th.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of, like we said, if you want to go see Venom, go see it. We do recommend going and seeing it at a matinee price if you can. So that way it doesn't feel so much of a strain on your pocketbook. Do be prepared to have some questions be raised for you, but it's okay, we all have them. And then like we both said, you're not, I mean, if anything, you pay the matinee price, you're not dedicated for a long amount of time. It's only an hour, and it's only 90 minutes long, which is funny because the first one was actually an hour 52.
Yeah. So
why they truncated it, who knows? Maybe they need some stuff for the director's cut or something like that.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? That's what they should do. They should make a new series of Who Knows? Instead of What If? Knows.
Kevin Feige would be in on that show all the time.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure at this point in time, he's the only one who actually has...
Who knows, yeah.
Like, Kevin Feige could cosplay as the Watcher.
There you go. But he is the Watcher.
No. But Kevin Feige, let's face it, it's his job to interfere.
Yeah. It is. It definitely is.
But go ahead and tell us what you thought of Venom. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, leave us a thumbs down. But tell us what you thought of Venom in the comments down below. My name is... Oh, go ahead.
Before we go, what would you rate the film on a scale of 1 to 10?
7.5.
Okay.
A solid C. Like, it's not a well, actually no, I'll raise it up to an 80. It's at least a B.
Wow, okay. Damn.
I wouldn't say that it's A grade on a scale of 1 to 10. Of course, I'm thinking also in percentages. Like, for some other reason, I'm thinking percentages, so I'm thinking 80%. It's like 80%. It's not terrible, but it's not the best either.
So an 8.
Yeah.
I'm like a 7.1.
7.1. Okay.
Yeah. It was okay. I mean, it was. I was expecting more. I wanted more. I wanted more story from. I wanted more Carnage. I wanted more than just an hour and a half.
Actually, wait. I know. I'm gonna change it back to my 7.5. I'm gonna change it back to my 7.5, and here's the reason why.
Okay.
The whole entire killing off of Spider-Man characters. I want a symbiote war movie, and I can't necessarily have that if you keep killing off symbiotes.
Yes.
Stop doing it, Marvel. Stop.
Not Marvel. Sony. Sony's the one that's doing it.
Damn it, Sony! Stop doing that. Stop making me blame
Marvel.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah, Sony has a bad habit of killing off villains.
But until next time, that's all that we have for today for our episode. So until next time, my name is Brendan. That's been Shane. We are the Knights of Nerd. Thank you for joining us at this episode of the Roundtable, and we hope to see you at the next one.
See you guys later.
And goodbye.